Hello and welcome. Today I'm sharing my thoughts on some stuff while drawing, including about the illustration itself. I'm actually quite surprised that I managed to talk during most of this video, which is super rare and an achievement, so yay me. I get fatigued when I talk, so I take that as just being like talk stunted or anxiety speaking challenge, which is a very real thing that I made up. As mentioned in the title, I will be talking about AI art, or at least just some rambling, really like a blurb, because I'm very tired of talking about it. Also, it's gotten to the point where I just feel dirty for saying that word, those words. They don't go together, it's an oxymoron, and it's a blight on the art community. First is the illustration in question. It's my entry to the mermaid contest on the Color Me Club on DeviantArt. The group accepts and encourages entries of quality line art for others to color. By the time this video is uploaded, the contest will be over. If you like line art and want to gain exposure while giving other artists or appreciate some cool art to color, this is a really cool group to join. It's one of the few groups I found on DeviantArt that are quite active and do monthly contests, which I find helps me stay motivated in between projects while avoiding burnout. Do you like entering monthly contests or making OCs? Drawing and writing OCs has been a sleeper passion of mine. I created Rem as a side challenge to this contest, and honestly, I wanted an excuse to draw a hot guy because I love my himbos, bishonen, tsunderes, and bad boys. I used to draw them all the time, and eventually I want to revive some old OCs. But for now, Rem will do. Oh, and that reminds me, I want to increase the diversity of the guys that I draw. I gravitate to other races outside of human, different ethnicities, effeminate, masculine, or fluid, androgynous, and so on, so forth. Anyways, Rem is one of the 3 princes of the sea kingdom of Sorbet. His royal family name is Cirrus, inspired by Siri from sensory filaments of vampire squids that allow them to feel vibrations and prey in the darkness. His people are very diverse and are technologically and magically advanced. Think Enchant Arm, the Jrpg that failed miserably in the United States. Released on the Xbox 360. I own that game and played it many times. It was like Pokemon on steroids, but with magic. For example, the people of Juna have mastered fast travel through portals to various lands and seas on and off the planet, and can also shapeshift into human or various sea creatures. Rem is extroverted, jovial, and not as serious as the other princes, but is quite opposite when he's around those closer to him in a smaller circle, and often prefers to be by himself. So I guess he's like a closeted introvert. He was adopted at a young age and suffered from amnesia, so his birthday and parents remain unknown. This has disturbed him ever since, but he doesn't let it show. He has a secret desire to find out who gave him up and often wonders why. There is a rival royal group who doesn't believe Rem nor the other princes deserve their status because they weren't born into it, like they believe it should be. But the Leifens have adopted beliefs from human influences outside of their political and cultural world. They believe in integration for power and economic growth, but the current ruling family to which Rem belongs to believe they should form a council that hosts humans but doesn't integrate them into their society. Rem finds himself on the fence as a mediator and believer that both sides can live and work together, but he knows he will be at odds with his royal family. There's a lot more in terms of his backstory and where he belongs and his people and all that, but since he's still pretty new, I haven't got into it too deep, and I kind of want to save some of that information going forward for art fight in July, which I'm excited for. Honestly, I'm not super excited to talk about AI art because I already have and I'm tired of seeing it and hearing about it, so I'll keep it brief. And this really is just like a rant. I freaking hate it and it's a mistake. Okay, that's not everything. And I'm not being entirely honest here. I don't like nor agree with how it's being pushed onto the masses, used against artists, and basically serves as a copyright black hole because there's basically no regulation or oversight in the mass data scraping and thievery going on in every corner of the internet. It's being abused by corporations and your everyman, and unfortunately my thoughts of this everyman isn't too good. It sounds stereotypical, but it's like a grift being turned to hell for by gooners. People who got bullied once from the crappy Naruto fan art in high school or turned down by their junior high school crush and have been an incel ever since. No, but seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if most people who crapped on artists while stealing their work to feed into the machine were like this. It's amazing how much slop has invaded sites like Etsy, YouTube, and Instagram to garner more sales and views, while actively denying the hard work of many artists they steal from. As an artist, I wonder what I can do to protect my work. While I don't think it's good enough to steal, there's a chance it's been data scraped with other works because these online hobgoblins are spiritual successors of the cookie monsters on crack. They need all these cookies, all the data, all the Pokemon. It will never be enough to fill the emptiness inside, and in this world, data is more powerful than oil, and money is king. And, gooning and all that. I heard about the AI disruptor by doing some searches and thought I'd give it a try. If you haven't heard, it's this noise filter thing applied to your art that serves to basically confuse or provide a buffer against AI data scrapers. I'm actually not sure how effective this is, but I'm willing to give it a try. If anyone uses this or has tried it, please tell me your experience with it. If there's something better, I'd also appreciate your insight. So community involvement is becoming very important to me, and the key to balancing my hermit modes. It's a seasonal thing, and it is not a result of loneliness, but a need to do some self-reflection. With communities, whether in the art realms or whatever, it also helps me fight procrastination and get inspired to keep going. There's a balance though, because too much exposure or spreading myself thin can wear me out, so I have to make some kind of schedule to honor myself. As a creator who appreciates looking at other creators, it has been challenging for me to focus on certain tasks and dedicate time to support artists. I find that instead of dropping everything in the moment once a notification pops up regarding a creator that I follow, it's easier to dedicate a couple hours on a certain day to check up on them. As I'm speaking, I've created a Substack and Artfight account. Both are pretty empty, but I'm gathering material to post as Substack looks promising for creatives who don't like social media format and the noise and pressure of constantly posting and gaming an algorithm. I'm excited to build my Artfight account because of the upcoming Artfight in July. It's about two teams who battle each other by drawing OCs of the rival team as attacks. The team with the highest number of points wins. Sounds simple enough, but I definitely have my work cut out for me because I haven't drawn OCs, or at least I haven't been consistent with drawing OCs, and a lot of my OCs are pretty old. I also need to step up my character OC reference pages, and to do so, I've been watching some creators on YouTube who have some pretty great pointers on that, so I definitely appreciate it. I'm not always a serious person. If you could describe me with two tarot cards, for example, it's gonna be the Fool and the Sun. But with that said, I do want people to take me seriously sometimes, asterisk, and to follow me because they like my style and value what I have to say or share. At least that's what I hope for. I mean, who wouldn't want that? I want to get over my art blocks and share no matter what the negative little fairy in my brain, aka my shadow, wants to say. I hear it, but since I'm a rebel at heart, I tend to do the opposite and embrace the fear and go forward. At least I like to tell myself that. I want to create things that speak to me or inspire me. I want to make beautiful things, and sometimes scary things. I want to get better at writing, so the stories I write come across easier to me and others I will share with. If people like it, well, that's freaking great. If they don't, that's okay too. I don't want to form resentment in myself or in others because of the promises I can't keep, or grand projects that don't go anywhere. I'm here to grow as an artist and take one step at a time. I know I'm not as consistent in my posting schedule, but I want to be disciplined enough to stick to a system that works for me and honors those that follow me and believe in what I do. Now here's the harsh reality of the current climate as an artist, at least for me. I don't know what it is like for you, but if you want to share, please do. Most people won't care about what I do. Most people will ignore or discourage those who are creatives to either give up or just ignore them, even if they are followers, aka ghost supporters. And sometimes that's not their fault. Sometimes it's because the artist doesn't post enough. And when I say the artist, I'm talking about me. There is no real joy in instant gratification on social media, hence why I'm here. I have had more failures than successes as an artist, but I haven't and I won't let that stop me from making art, and I would encourage you to do the same. A lot of people have been caught up in the hype of algorithms and creating as a means to an end instead of creating for the sake and the joy of it. What I mean is that there's a lot of people on platforms like YouTube and Instagram who want to sell you courses or ideas about finding your niche and making stuff to sell, i.e. turning your art or passion into a business. And while I don't think this in itself is bad, it's interesting that this is the main focus of these people's content. Sometimes it's a grift, and sometimes this is the natural evolution of these creators who found great success and probably believe others can have it too, which is a beautiful thing. Although I've never seen or heard of these people before, including the art, music, or whatever they're known for, and that's not what their presence on these spaces are about. It's to tell you why you need to turn your hobby into a business, or how you can make more money doing so. I'm not shaming these people for doing what they do, but I have become numb to it, and that's partially my own fault. I get that people need to eat and pay their bills, but I'm honestly tired of seeing stuff like this, and in part social media, which has bloated with these coaches and gurus and entrepreneurs who want to sell you the idea that everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. That is not true. I want to see and be a part of communities that strive on making safe spaces, sharing their works, getting feedback, and participating in challenges, contests, and charities. It's so disconcerting to see that artists are encouraged to become business-minded first and artists second. I say this because I fell into this trap, and while I did have mild success, it was very draining because I often found myself thinking about marketing myself and determining ways to get more attention on the stuff I make than being disappointed when I spent all this time, money, and energy into this instead of focusing on being a better artist and actually figuring out what I wanted out of it, not what I think I wanted, which I let be projected onto me. And I didn't just come up with all this on the spot. I made lists. I wrote in my journal. I wrote goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I set a schedule. I actually stuck to it. But I fell off pretty badly. My identity became skewed, and while I still made things I wanted to, it was tainted in the name of making art to sell, which took most of the joy out of it. All in all, I want to create art without the expectation or pressure to sell it. If I decide to sell some aspects or artwork in the future, that's fine, but I'm not really expecting to. If someday the work that I do or a service that I create can make some money, then I may monetize it. But I don't want what I do becoming a paywall as a barrier of entry. Well, folks, I admit I am all tapped out. I don't really know what else to talk about, so I'm gonna leave it here. I'm not used to talking so much in this format, but I do hope it gave you some kind of entertainment or insight. I get overwhelmed easily due to sensory overload, and I have to take breaks. I was also working on another video inspired by Neopunk FM's video of dramatic music videos, and it's like 60% done. I will need all the energy of the Infinity Gauntlet to finish that. Maybe in a month, I don't know. No promises. But I guess if I do finish it, that will be a success for me because I'm a huge procrastinator when it comes to YouTube videos. They say that if you fear doing something challenging or different, it's a sign that you should do it, even if your expectations aren't met. The difference between me now and me a year ago was that I often set myself up for disappointment because I had expectations and I was staying in my comfort zone. Well, me talking more is a step outside of that. And whether I make a totally different video in the future, or something similar to this, or something outside of this that may or may not be on YouTube, it's all an adventure to figuring out how I communicate as a creative. What's a mode of communication you want to do more of or get better at? This is a judgment-free zone, and any thoughts shared would be appreciated. Until next time, peace.